Hello, I, Professor Bhavik Kumar M. Kataria, welcomes you into the video series of Computer Networks, and we are learning unit number 3, Transport Layer. So, if we will look about this unit, so we have discussed various topics like transport layer services, multiplexing and demultiplexing, connection, less transport, UDP, user datagram protocol, connection oriented transport by the help of transmission control protocol TCP, and currently we are discussing principles of reliable data transfer. So in that case we have discussed one video session on stop and wait protocol and principle of reliable data transfer, and today we will discuss the sliding window protocol, and our next session will be congestion control. So let's see. As we have discussed main functionality of transport layer, that is process to process communication, whereas network layer is for the providing the link from device to device. Okay. Whereas here any process is executing into the one device is directly communicating with the another process executing into the another device. So if we will look about the services in detail, so first thing, there is a service point addressing. In that case, transport layer is responsible for the port addressing. Get it? And network layer is responsible for the IP addressing, whereas data link layer is responsible for the MAC addressing. Segmentation and reassembly. It means data is going to be divided into the number of different segments, and same thing at a receiver's end. Again, segments are gathered, and it will generate one data unit. And then after, connection control, flow control, and error control. So these are the responsibilities of transport layer. We have discussed multiplexing in this unit. Basically, there are two types of communication: analog communication and digital communication. So in terms of analog communication, there are techniques like FDM, frequency division multiplexing, and WDM, wavelength division multiplexing. Whereas in terms of digital communication, there is a techniques are time division multiplexing and asynchronous time division multiplexing. We have discussed user datagram protocol UDP for the connection less services, which is the protocol of transport layer, as well as we have discussed transmission control protocol TCP for the connection oriented services. Again, it is a protocol of transport layer. And in our last session, we have discussed principle of reliable data transfer. So guys, if you are still remain to watch our video of principles of reliable data transfer, so you can click on I button at top right corner and you can watch earlier video. So you will understand today's session about the sliding window protocol easily. So first, we have discussed building a reliable data transfer protocol and pipeline reliable data transfer protocol. And today we will discuss go backend and selective repeat, which is nothing but a sliding window protocol. These two protocols are a sliding window protocol. So let's see what we have discussed in previous video session. So we have discussed the capacity of channel. We have discussed both this thing, half duplex channel and full duplex channel. Get it? We have also discussed the efficiency of stop and wait protocol with respect to thick pipe and thin pipe, and we have discussed the efficiency of stop and wait protocol. Another thing, we have discussed pipelining with respect to stop and wait protocol, how stop and wait protocol is working in pipelining concept. And today we are going to start the sliding window protocol. So as per the name, sliding window protocol, basically there is a concept is a sliding window. So first understand what do you mean by the sliding window? So as we have discussed, in terms of stop and wait protocol, what's happening look like. If we will discuss about the stop and wait protocol, so whenever we have a data packets, so we are just transmitting the data packet in a transmission time towards the destination side. Suppose it is our sender and it is our receiver. Get it? So remaining period of time, sender is waiting for the acknowledgement from the receiver side. Whenever receiver will send the acknowledgement of that particular signal, so then and then sender will send the next packet. Get it? Again, after receiving the acknowledgement of second packet, sender will send a third packet. So that is the concept of stop and wait protocol. So in that case, whatever the timing, there is a transportation delay. It means data packets are traveling from sending side to receiving side, and again acknowledgement signal is traveling from the receiver side to sender side. So these are the period of time which is known as a propagation delay. So during this propagation time, sender is not sending any data packets. Get it? This time duration is going to be wasted in terms of stop and wait protocol. Get it? Again here, this time duration is going to be wasted. It means sender is not using this time for the sending the data. But here, what is the concept? We want to use the full capacity of channel. Get it? Here we have defined the capacity of stop and wait protocol. So that is very less about the if suppose total capacity of channel is very large, so efficiency of stop and wait protocol is less. Now, in terms of sliding window protocol, we will use total capacity of channel here. So what we will do, we will send the data packets continuously without waiting for the acknowledgement. Let's see. Suppose in this case, sender is sending the data packets 0 towards the receiver. Get it? And without waiting the acknowledgement, sender will send again next packet. Again sender will send a next packet without waiting for the acknowledgement. Get it? So what's happened here? Sender is continuously sending the packets. Get it? Suppose like first sender is sending the packet number 0. Get it? Again sender will send packet number 1. Then sender will send packet number 2. Get it? So packet number 0, 1 and 2, these 3 packets are traveling on the way. Get it? Now after this moment, receiver will send the acknowledgement signal. Get it? So whenever acknowledgement signal will reach, so it will require some amount of time. But currently, sender is sending these 3 packets. Packet number 0, 1 and 2. So these packets are known as an entire window. It means continuously sender is sending 3 packets. Suppose receiver will send the acknowledgement of packet number 0. So at that time, sender will send next packet, packet number 3. Get it? So what is the mean? It means currently 3 packets, packet number 1, 2, 3 are on the way. Whenever receiver will send the acknowledgement signal of packet number 1, so at that time sender start transmitting packet number 4. So at that time packet number 2, 3 and 4 are in way. It means continuously 0, 1, 2, then after 1, 2, 3, then after 2, 3, 4. So always 3 packets are traveling inside the channel. So this thing is known as a window of these 3 packets. This entire concept is known as a sliding window. Actually, window is not going to be slide here. But what is the meaning? one by one, receiver is sending the acknowledgement of every data packets, and continuously one by one sender is start transmitting new packets. So here, whenever we will draw a window on these three packets, so it is look like entire window is sliding towards the right to left. Get it? So this concept is known as a sliding window. Let's see with the example. So total window size is equal to 1 plus 2a that we have defined during the discussion of stop and wait protocol. Get it? So maximum window size will be the 1 plus 2a. Get it? So that is the total capacity. Maximum we can send the 1 plus 2a packet. So that is the window size in terms of sliding window protocol. Let's see, we have transmission delay 1 millisecond and propagation delay 1.5 millisecond. So let's understand with this type of numeric data. So what is happening? Transmission time is a 1 millisecond. Okay. So every 1 millisecond sender can send a new packets, and propagation time is 1.5 millisecond. So 1.5 millisecond required for the data packets from the sending side to receiver side, and another 1.5 millisecond required for the acknowledgement from receiving side to sending side. So it will be the total 3 millisecond plus 1 millisecond is transmission time. So we can directly calculate 1 plus 2a, window size will be 4. Window size is equal to 4. How we can calculate look like that? There is no need to put the equation of A. Get it? So you can calculate by putting the equation of A is equal to delay of propagation upon delay of transmission. So you will get the same answer. Get it? Otherwise you can calculate directly 1.5 multiplied by 2. It means total 3 millisecond required into the propagation time and 1 millisecond required for the transmission. So 3 plus 1. It means total window size will be the 4. So we can send packet number 0, 1, 2 and 3 in a single window. Let's see here. That is the single window. Now, how many minimum sequence number is required? Get it? So, suppose what we have discussed here, after sending packet number 0, 1, 2, we have choose another sequence number, that is 3. After sending 1, 2, 3, we have taken another sequence number, that is 4. But there is no need to choose multiple sequence number, because after receiving the acknowledgement of 0, suppose here window size is 4, 0, 1, 2 and 3 packets are traveling. So whenever sender will complete the transmission of packet number 3, so at that time acknowledgement number of packet packet number 0 is received here. Let's see. Get it? So after this moment, sequence number 0 will become free. No one is using the sequence number 0. So sender can again use the sequence number 0. So let's see, here we have taken the sequence number 0 once again. Same thing. After sending after completing the transmission of packet number 0, sender will receive the acknowledgement number 1. So again sequence number 1 will become free. So sender can use the sequence number 1. So same thing, continuously this sequence number we can repeat. So what are the minimum sequence number we have requires? Total window size. Suppose total window size is 4. So we require minimum 4 sequence number 0, 1, 2 and 3. So that is the concept of sliding window. Another thing, bits require for the sequence number. Get it? So we can calculate by the equation log 2 base 1 plus 2a. Get it? So for this case, we can use the 2 bits. Get it? How we can generate the 4 sequence number by using 2 bits? Let's see. First, that is 0. So we can use 2 bit 0, 0. Second one is 1. So we can use 2 bit 0 and 1. Then after 2, 1, 0 means 2, and another thing 1, 1. It means 3. So it is representing 0, 0, 1 representing 1, 1, 0 representing 2 and double 1 representing 3. I am talking about the binary. Get it? So by using the 2 bits, we can generate 4 sequence number. So somewhere, suppose the question should be asked into the numerical form. So question should be like, how many minimum sequence number is required? How many minimum bits required to generate this sequence number? So this type of question can be asked into the examination. Now, but in case of sequence number, if window size is 4 and if you don't have 4 sequence number, then what happens? So suppose we have a 2 sequence number, like first we are sending 0 and 1, and again we are using 0 and 1. So it will generate the duplicate packet problem. So this thing is not possible. If window size is 4, so minimum we have required 4 sequence number. Yeah, we can use the more than minimum capacity, like size of window is 4. So we can use 5 sequence number, 6 sequence number, 10 sequence number, 100 sequence number. Get it? But minimum requirement is 4. But same thing, there is no need to use more and more sequence number, because again it will generate a load on network. Now we are taking one example. Transmission delay is 1 millisecond and propagation delay is 49.5 millisecond. So what will be the window size? So again 49.5 plus 49.5 is equal to 99. 99 plus 1, so 100. So directly you will get the answer. No need to put the equation A is equal to delay of propagation upon delay of transmission. Suppose you are not aware with these fundamentals, then and then there is need of using the equations. Now same thing, how many minimum sequence number is required? Minimum sequence number requires 100. Again, how many bits required to generate 100 sequence number? So we will calculate log 2 base 100. So we will get the answer 6.8. So we will take a round of 6.8. So we will get 7. 7 means we have to use 2 raised to 7. 2 raised to 7 means 128. So by using the 7 bits, we can generate 128 sequence number. But how many sequence number we require? We require only 100 sequence number. Get it? So we have a 28 sequence number more. So here, due to the rounding of 6.8, we are getting 128 bit. So remaining, we have a more number of sequence number as compared to requirement. Suppose you are thinking here 28 more sequence numbers are there. So suppose we will take a 6 bit, then what's happen? So let's check. Suppose we are using 6 bits only. So how many sequence number we will get? We will get 64 sequence number. Get it? So what's happen? Whenever sender will start transmission, so sender will send the data up to the one packet on a 1 millisecond. Get it? So transmission will go up to the 64 millisecond. Within a 64 millisecond, sender will send the 64 packets. Then after there is no more sequence number. So after the 64 millisecond, sender will wait for the acknowledgement. Whenever acknowledgement number of 0 is arrived, then and then sender will use again sequence number 0. Get it? So sender have to send up to the 36 second. Get it? Out of 100 milliseconds, sender have to wait, that is millisecond, sender have to wait 36 milliseconds. It means we are not able to use the full capacity which channel have. So what is the efficiency? Total capacity is 100. Out of 100, we are able to send within a 64 millisecond out of 100 milliseconds. So what is the efficiency? Efficiency is equal to 64% only. Get it? So that's why there is a minimum sequence number required to transmit the data. Get it? So window size is equal to 1 plus 2a. It means total window size or 2 raised to n. Get it? Whatever is a maximum. 1 plus 2a or 2 raised to n. Out of this both, whatever the digits are maximum, that digit we will choose as a window. size. Suppose 1 plus 2a is a maximum, so we will choose 1 plus 2a, or 2 raised to n is maximum, so we will choose 2 raised to n. Like if there is a 6.8, so we have to use 2 raised to 7 and we will get 128. So no need to worry about the remaining 28 sequence number. Get it? We can use more sequence number, but we cannot run with the less number of sequence number. So what is the minimum window size? How many minimum sequence number requires? So either 1 plus 2a or 2 raised to n out of these two. Suppose 1 plus 2a is minimum, or 2 raised to n is minimum. So we will choose it for the window size. So here, suppose here 1 plus 2a is equal to 100, and 2 raised to 7, it means 2 raised to n means 128. So how many sequence number we require? We require minimum of 100 for 128. So minimum is 100. So 100. So we require here only 100 sequence number. Get it? Remaining 28 sequence number are extra. Now, if you will go with the types of sliding window protocol, so there are two types of sliding window protocol. First one is go back and another one is selective repeat. So let's see one by one about the go back and selective repeat. First, we are starting the go back and. Basically, it is known as a GBN. G for the go, B for the back, and stand for the N only. So here, what N is representing? So N is representing sender window size. We will understand the three concepts in both the protocol. First thing, that is sender window size. Second thing, that is receiver window size. And third thing about the acknowledgement. So let's see first, we are starting with the sender window size in go back N. For example, if N is equal to 10, so this protocol will known as a GB10. Like somewhere, whenever you will appear into the examination and data should be given like GB5. So meaning of GB5 protocol means that is go back N, and the sending window size of this protocol is equal to 5. Same thing here, suppose GB10. So sender window size is 10. Let's discuss with the same example. Transmission delay is 1 millisecond and propagation delay is 49.5 milliseconds. So definitely no need to calculate. We will get window size is equal to 100. Get it? Here I have put the calculation like you want to put the equation of A is equal to propagation delay upon transmission delay. So 49.5 divided by 1. 49.5 into 2. It means 99 divided by 1 is equal to 99. 99 plus 1 is equal to 100. Get it? Generally, I am not calculating every time. But suppose you are not able to understand the fundamentals, then there is need to calculate 1 plus 2a. Now, as per our discussion, window size is 10. So what will be the efficiency? Total window size is 100 and window size is 10. So out of the 100, we are able to send only 10 packets. Get it? Total window size is 100, but our window size given into the example, that is GB10. Get it? So we are able to send 10 packets only. So efficiency is equal to 10 divided by 100, it means 10%. Here we are getting efficiency only 10%. Another question should be asked, like if bandwidth in above example is 40 Mbps, then what would be the throughput? Efficiency is equal to 10%. It means 10 divided by 100, and bandwidth is equal to 40 Mbps. So just multiply what is the equation of throughput, that is efficiency into bandwidth. We have already derived the equation of throughput while discussing the stop and wait protocol. So very well, we know that throughput is equal to efficiency into bandwidth. Efficiency is equal to 10 divided by 100 and bandwidth is equal to 40. So definitely it will be 400 divided by 100. So answer will be 4 and it will be in 4 Mbps. So throughput is equal to 4 Mbps for this example. Now we will discuss receiver window. So if we will look about the go back N protocol, so receiver window size is always 1. So these two things you have to keep in your mind always in terms of go back N protocol. Sender window size is equal to N and receiver window size is equal to 1. This type of question can be asked into the short questions or a multiple choice question. What is the size of sender window in go back N protocol, or what is the size of receiver window in go back N protocol? So you can answer easily. Sender window size is N and receiver window size is 1. Now here we will understand clearly the concept of go back N. Why the two words go and back? Get it? Suppose sender window size is N. It means here we are taking the sender window size is 4. Get it? GB4. Now we are sending packet number 0, 1, 2 and 3 within 4 milliseconds. Suppose we are transmission delay is 1 millisecond. Now receiver window size is 1. So receiver is sending the packets one by one. First receiver will receive the data packets 0 and send the acknowledgement. After receiving the packet number 1, receiver will send the acknowledgement number of 1. But suppose packet number 2 is not received. It means somewhere packet number 2 is corrupted. It means here third packet is corrupted. So receiver is not receiving the packet number 2, so there is no need to min for sending the acknowledgement. Get it? So what happens? Whenever first there is a timeout timer in both the sides. Get it? Here packet number 0 is sent, packet number 1 sent, 2 sent and 3 sent. So total window is 4. So after sending the 4 packets, sender will receive, will wait for the acknowledgement. Whenever packet number acknowledgement for packet number 0 will receive, so sender will send packet number 4. Whenever acknowledgement number of 1 will receive, sender will send packet number 5. Get it? But acknowledgement number 2 is not received. Get it? So sender will not send packet number 6. Sender will stop here. Why? Because sender is not receiving acknowledgement of 2. So sender will go back from here. Okay. After sending the packet number 5, sender will go back up to the window size. What will be the window size? Window size is 4 GB4 here we are using. So sender will go 5, 4, 3, 2, 4 packets. From the next 4, 3, 2. Get it? So there is a need to send packet number 2 again. So this entire window 2, 3, 4, 5 will send again. So sender will start transmission from the packet number 2. Then after sender will send packet number 3, then after 4 and then after 5. Get it? So let's see what is the disadvantage here. Because packet number 3, 4, 5 already sent, but receiver is not receiving the packet number 3 because the receiver is waiting for the packet number 2. Whenever receiver will receive packet number 3, so receiver will not accept. Receiver will discard packet number 3. Whenever receiver will receive packet number 4, so receiver will discard. Whenever receiver will receive packet number 5, so it will discard. Because receiver is waiting for the packet number 2. So that's why sender is sending this entire window again 2, 3, 4, 5. So whenever packet number 2 will arrive, so sender receiver will accept the packet number 2, then after packet number 3, 4 and 5. So that is the fundamental, that is go back N. It means N means window size is 4. So sender will go up to the 4 step back and again send entire window. Get it? So hope you are understanding very well about the fundamentals of Go backend. Let's see one example. Suppose there is a GB4 in every 6th packet that is being transmitted is lost, and if we have sent 10 packets, then how many transmission are required? Size is 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is our first window. And every 6th packet is lost. Then after we will send the next packet 2, 3, 4, 5. That is next window. Then after we will send packet number 6, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Get it? But then after we will send 4, 5, 6, 7. Then after 5, 6, 7, 8. And then after 6, 7, 8, 9. So whenever we are sending this window 6, 7, 8, 9, at that time packet number 6 is going to be lost. So there is need to send this entire window again. So we will come back, go back and window size is 4. So we will come back 4 step and we will send packet number 6 again. 6, 7, 8, 9. Get it? We will send this entire window again. 6, 7, 8, 9. So what happens? Again, 6th packet is going to be lost. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 8 is going to be lost. So there is need to send again 8, 9 and 10 this window. So if we will calculate, so total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So total 17 packets are there. Get it? There is need to send total 17 transmissions. So this type of question can be asked into the short question or multiple choice question. Another thing, if we will look about the acknowledgement. So there is two types of acknowledgement. First one is cumulative acknowledgement and second one is independent acknowledgement. In terms of cumulative acknowledgement, suppose sending window size is 4 GB4. So after receiving the 4 packets, receiver will send a common acknowledgement for all 4 data packets. And in terms of independent acknowledgement, whenever receiver will every packets one by one, packet number 1, 2, 3 and 4. So receiver will one by one all the acknowledgement. So if you will look about the sequence number of acknowledgement, so always in terms of data communication, sequence number for the acknowledgement number is 1 plus as compared to sequence number of sending side. We have discussed this thing during the stop and wait protocol. So suppose packet sender packet is 0, so acknowledgement of sender packet 0 is 1. Suppose data is sending packet number 1, sender is sending packet number 1, so receiver will reply the acknowledgement of packet number 1 with the 2. Get it? So always acknowledgement number is 1 plus. So suppose here packets are 1, 2, 3, 4, so acknowledgement number are 2, 3, 4 and 5. That is the fundamental of independent acknowledgement. So if we will look about the advantages of cumulative, so in terms of cumulative it will generate less traffic because entire window size there is only one acknowledgement, so it will generate less traffic. But in terms of independent, traffic is high because every single data packets there is an acknowledgement. If we will look about the reliability, so cumulative is a less reliable because there is a common acknowledgement for entire window size, whereas in terms of independent, there is individual acknowledgement for the every data packets. So that's why reliability of independent acknowledgement is high. Another thing about the timer. So timer of sending side is always greater than the acknowledgement timer. Suppose here like acknowledgement timer is 5 milliseconds. So after 5 milliseconds, receiver will send the acknowledgement, whatever the number of packets received. Like packet number 0 and 1 are received. So 2 packets are received. So for these 2 packets, receiver will send the common acknowledgement number, that is 2. Get it? So what is the meaning of acknowledgement number 2? Before the 2, whatever the packet sends, like packet sent 0 and 1 are received. Again, after 5 milliseconds, receiver will send in another acknowledgement. After my 5 milliseconds, 2 more packets received, 2 and 3. So plus 1. Receiver will send acknowledgement number 4. It means before the number of 4, whatever the packet sent, 2 and 3 were received. So after that, receiving the both acknowledgement, sender can reuse the sequence number from 0, 1, 2, 3. Get it? So always there is need to keep timeout timer from sending side is greater. Suppose this timeout timer is less as compared to receiver's timer. So like this are 4 milliseconds. Get it? So after 4 milliseconds, sender will not receive the acknowledgement of 0 and 1. So it will send 0 and 1 again. Packet number 0 and packet number 1. Whereas actually 0 and 1 was received. So it will generate a duplicate packet problem. Get it? So that's why there is need to keep this timing greater than this time. So we will keep this time greater than 5 milliseconds. It means greater than the acknowledgement time. Now, what is the relationship between window size and sequence number? Get it? So as we have discussed, to reduce the duplicate packet problem, we are using the one more sequence number. Get it? So suppose window size is n and receiver window size is 1. So we will use 5 sequence number. Get it? We are using plus 1 sequence number generally in terms of data communication. Get it? To avoid the duplicate packet problem. Let's see. Suppose sender is sending 0, 1, 2 and 3 packet. And this entire acknowledgement is corrupted. So again, sender will send packet number 0, 1, 2, 3, whereas 0, 1, 2, 3 is already received. Get it? So receiver will not accept 0, 1, 2, 3 again. Receiver is waiting for the packet number 4. So that's why in those cases, suppose acknowledgement is going to be corrupt. So that's why we are using 1 plus sequence number. So next packet we will send for 0, 1 and 2. Get it? So whenever receiver will get it 4, 0, 1, 2, so receiver will understand these are the new window, not a older window. So that's why we are using one more sequence number as compared to window size. So suppose window size is 4, so we are using sequence number 5. Get it? So that is the fundamental. If you have to keep in mind this equation, window size plus receiver, sender window size plus receiver window size. Receiver window size is 1. So we will add this size into the sender window size. So total we will get the sequence number ASN. Now same thing, that is the fundamental here. Window size is n and receiver window size is 1. So how many sequence number required? N plus 1 sequence number required. To generate the n plus 1 sequence number, how many bits required? Bits requires log 2 base n plus 1. And how many, if data should given like sequence number are n, so how many size of window will there? So window size is n minus 1. That is the reverse thing. Window size is n, so sequence number n plus 1. Suppose sequence number n, so window size will be n minus 1. Receiver window size always 1. Suppose sequence number are 4, so sender window size is 3 and receiver window size is 1. Suppose sequence number 3, so sender window size is 2 and receiver window size is 1. But don't go with the 1, 1. If you will use the sender window size 1 and receiver window size 1, So what will be happen? It will not be a go backend. It will become a stop and wait. So there is no need to use meaning of go backend. Whenever both the window size is 1, so it will become stop and wait. That is the fundamental. Someone is given like you, if in terms of go backend protocol, sender window size is 1 and receiver window size is 1. So what protocol go backend representing? So at that time go backend is presenting stop and wait. Suppose bits are k and sequence number are 2 raised to k. Get it? So what will be sender window size? Sender window size will be 2 raised to k minus 1. Get it? Suppose total k bits are there and we want to generate 2 raised to k sequence number, because sender window size is sequence number is always less than the total. When sender window size is less than sequence number, get it? So it will be 2 raised to k minus 1. Receiver window size is always 1. Another thing, that is selective repeat. So what is the difference as compared to go backend? In terms of go backend, whenever data packet is corrupted, so we are sending entire window again. So in case of selective repeat, we are not sending entire window, we are just sending the corrupted packet. Suppose transmission time is 1 millisecond and propagation time is 49.5 milliseconds. So it will again capacity is 100 packets. And suppose sender window size is 50. So efficiency will be 50 divided by 100. 1 by 2, it means 50%. Same thing, bandwidth is 4 Mbps. So throughput is equal to efficiency into bandwidth. It means 1 by 2 into 4. So throughput will be 2 Mbps. If we will look about the receiver window, so receiver window is always equal to sender window. Suppose sender window size is 4, so receiver window size will be 4. Suppose sender window size is 10, so receiver window size will be 10. In that case, like we are sending packet number 0, 1, 2 and 3 and packet number 0 is corrupted, 1, 2, 3 were received. So sender will send packet number 0 only. That is known as a selective repeat. And in terms of acknowledgement, one more functionality is here in terms of selective repeat. A receiver is sending the negative acknowledgement. Suppose packet number 0 is not received. So receiver will send the negative acknowledgement regarding to the packet number 0 is not received. So sender will be able to know that packet number 0 is need to send again. Get it? In terms of go backend, there is need to wait about the timeout timer. When sender will retransmit the packets after completion of timeout of timer. In terms of selective repeat, there is no need to wait up to the timeout timer. Whatever the suppose negative acknowledgement comes earlier, so sender will send that particular packet 0 is not received. Either if negative acknowledgement is late, so after completion of timeout timer, sender will send the next packet. So that is the one advantage as compared to go backend. So that was everything about the sliding window protocol, and our next session will be the congestion control. So stay connected.